Welcome back to State of Decay 2 and the Salt of the Earth. I'm trying to use a latrine, and somebody is creepily watching me, and I think that's weird. So let's just walk over here. Um, Mad Max RA in the chat has got a question. He's asking basically, would it be possible to get like instant maps in this game, where like a map that you can travel to that's far away, you do some stuff there, and then you come back home to your base and find things where you left it, or maybe you find like a few days have passed or something like that. So that was actually one of the many ideas that we considered when we were sort of thinking about ways that we could expand State of Decay 2. And we ended up not going that way, mostly just because we did seriously consider it. But part of the problem was that, like, each map that we make has got a certain amount of overhead to it. Like, if you look at this map, we don't just have to make the playable area. We've got to make also sort of the area in the backdrop, behind everything. We also have to, sort of handle, like, how do you enter and leave the map? What do the, there's a lot of sort of expense. And also just developing the look of the map, the whole atmosphere of it, any unique art that it needs. And so making a large map lets you sort of repeat a lot of that work or take advantage of a lot of that work over a very large area. But if you make a small map, you have to do all of that work for a very small area. And it wouldn't have been crazy. Like, if we had decided that that was what we wanted to do, we could have pulled it off. But not only is, like, a smaller map less efficient with your art time than a larger map, but also, like, the amount of time that the player can spend in a small map is also a little bit out of proportion. Like, if you make a larger scale map like this one, like I'm sitting here in Providence Ridge, you can, players can play in a map like this for absolute ages. They could live here for like a really, that's not what I wanted to do, for a really long time. Oh, hey, I'm too close to the Haven device. I'm not getting credit for these kills. There's just a lot of varied gameplay you can do here. Whereas if we made a tighter, more focused map, you would probably go there, like say it's like a little, I don't know, like a ski resort someplace or something like that. Not with snow, but like in the mountains someplace. We'd probably just have like a handful of buildings in a place like that. And then, you would go there, and instead of spending hours there, you might spend 10 minutes there, and then you've done everything you could possibly do. And you head back home. And sort of the amount of time and the amount of repetition that would be involved, it just felt like a lot of the sort of on balance, the economics of it just didn't really line up. Like, there's a certain minimum size we need to make a map in order for it to be incredibly replayable and have players able to have a lot of really varied experiences there. And a smaller scale map, which is what we would need, we would really need it to be a smaller scale map in order for it to, be feasible. Players would go there, they'd have like one little experience there, and then the next time they'd go there, they'd have a very similar experience there, and would end up with players not really spending as much time there, getting as much out of it as we would want. And it would just end up being, like if that was our whole strategy, we would end up needing to spend tons and tons of effort to make each map, and then each map would only give players a really limited amount of gameplay. And it just, compared to putting more time into making a map the scale of Providence Ridge is actually a lot more cost effective. Like, whoa, frickin' feral. Okay, fine. Crap. Ultimately, it was a lot more cost effective for us to make a large map and get the sheer amount of gameplay you get out of a large map than to make a bunch of smaller maps, which each would, basically, to create the amount of gameplay that you get of one of these large maps, we would need to make 2, 3, 4, 5 times as much map out of smaller maps in order to get that. So we just figured, we were a small team, we had limited resources. The best thing we could do was make the most cost-effective type of map that we could. Does that make sense? So Awesome Twitch dude says, hearing cut features is always fun. Yeah, so that one, I don't even know if it qualifies as a cut feature, because it wasn't even in the plan. It was just a proposal on the table that we didn't pursue. So yeah, it's not even a cut feature. It's just like, it's more of a considered feature. Okay, so let's... Okay, here's some more. Yeah, so I don't have a lot of plague zombies around, but I do have plague freaks around. Oh, whoops. I do have plague freaks around, and those count as plague zombies for this. Oh, we do have a lot of plague zombies around. Anyway, plague freaks count as plague zombies for these plague zombie bounties. The problem is, a lot of the time, like, we had to manually set that up. Every time you have a bounty that says, you know, kill so many plague zombies, and plague freaks count as plague zombies, that's because a designer manually listed every single plague freak as something that could trigger that bounty. A lot of manual work went into that kind of stuff. So, okay, so we've got... Okay, oh, there's another plague screamer down here. So, yeah, so I don't know if I actually said out loud at the beginning of the stream, because I started answering your question immediately. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to achieve bounties. I'm trying to get through the bounties from whatever pack we're on now. I've forgotten which one it is. And so you can see I set those screamers on fire earlier because that was my third bounty, and I was using a shotgun on zombies because that was my second bounty. So now I've just got my top bounty here, which I'm trying to get by killing plague zombies with... None of those guys are plague zombies. I'm trying to kill plague zombies with ranged attacks. So I think to get enough plague zombies... I mean, clearly they're still showing up around here for some reason. But to get enough of them, I might need to get closer to a plague heart. But doing that might wake the plague heart? But that's a little less scary with Salt of the Earth than it is in my Lethal Zone game. Now, I have bumped up Salt of the Earth, I believe, to be in the Nightmare Zone for combat now. So it's still a little tougher, but not nearly as bad as... I've gotten used to the Nightmare Zone now. I mean, since playing in the Lethal Zone, Nightmare does still feel a little safer. So maybe I should... Oh, wait, what does Josh here want? Hey, Josh. What's up, man?
Really know your shit.
Oh, right. I forgot about this mechanic where you can just recruit randos. He's got gardening. Do I need gardening? What have we got? Electronics, metalwork, gut packing, medicine, munitions, hacking, agriculture. So we do have gardening. Okay, so we don't need a gardener. Pathology. Yeah, so I don't think we need you, Josh. Goodbye, Josh.
Whatever. Still a free country, right? Bye-bye.
So the Coalition is running a poll right now asking what people's favorite bounty pack is of a certain list. He's listed Critical Response, Open Range, World War II, and the Anniversary Pack. I'm split between Open Range, which has got all those lever action rifles, and the Anniversary Pack, which has got a bunch of fun references to old school State of Decay. Because no one's voted for the Open Range pack again, I'll vote for Open Range. Just because of the lever action, but I could have gone with either one. Not surprised that so many people are going Critical Response. That is weirdly one of our like most popular packs, and I personally don't fully get the appeal myself, because it's kind of our police cosplay pack, which is just not my thing. But you know, whatever. People get to be into what they want. I'm not going to yuck somebody else's yum. Oh, Orthos pointed out I could have recruited that guy if I wanted to get herbalism instead of agriculture, and that is true. But I think I might have some other missing spots in my community that I haven't really put the research into it, but it felt like if I've got another missing spot where like a basic skill is missing, I should probably prioritize that. Well, this is a veritable bonanza. Of course, what I'm doing here is probably going to wake the Plague Heart because it hasn't woken up already. It's still asleep right now. But maybe I should just go until I see the notification, which you probably won't see because it'll land behind my head. There will be a notification when the plague heart is stirring. And hopefully if I stop then, I won't wake it. I only need to kill 12 more of these guys. And then I can head back to the bounty broker and collect my prizes. There you go. Coalition says that he wouldn't call Critical Response the police cosplay pack because the only actual outfits it has are firefighter outfits. That's true. But it does have a lot of police-themed weapons. And that's sort of... I mean, when we first... I'm trying to remember. When we first started doing bounty packs, I don't remember if that was before or after the outfits update. I think it was a little bit before. So I still think of the weapons as being sort of the main thing you're getting from our bounty packs. And so I think of, like, which weapons you carry as being the cosplay. But you're right. We did only provide firefighter outfits. So Malator says that the voice that Josh character was using is like nails on a chalkboard for them. I don't remember which voice it was. What? Where? Oh, there. Hi. Oh, okay. I guess the Rowdy Outsiders wanted me to kill a feral, and I didn't realize it. But there was the last, whoop.
A bloater!
A bloater? There was the last kill that I needed. Oh, there's multi-bloaters. Quildren says, idea, how about if we could break down all the workstations and utilities except for a special built-in stuff in bases? So you're talking about, like, if a base has got like a normal... Why did that not work? If a base has got something like a bedroom in it or something like that, like a fairly normal thing built in, you're suggesting that we should... Yeah, chain reaction. That we should be able to break it down rather than being committed to that particular feature. So yeah, that is something that I think we considered. I think, yeah, Brian went back and forth about that a little bit because he could definitely see the appeal, as he is, just like many of our players, he is a nerdy management sim player. And, you know, having that level of control over the base is something that he definitely understood the desire for. I think that sort of the main factor that sort of pushed against that is the fact that we didn't have a lot of different ways to sort of balance the bases against each other. Like for instance, if each of the bases was just like, if the only difference between different bases was the number of different facility slots. Like if you could do anything you wanted with every facility slot, and the only question was how many of each type of facility slot does my base have, then, you know, obviously the best base would be the one with the most slots, and that's it. The decision is just really simple. There would be no, you know, oh, well, this base, do I want this base or do I want that base? Like, that just wouldn't even be a question. You would always want the base with the most slots. And so Brian's job in designing the base system was to make sure that the player had interesting decisions to make. There wasn't just a single obvious best base. And so we needed there to be more parameters around that, more different ways to make bases different from each other. So one way was built-ins. But it wasn't just like, oh, does this base have these powerful built-ins? Well, this other base has these other powerful built-ins. That's one way. That's just one dimension that he could have used to, and he did use to sort of differentiate the bases from each other. But he was able to give himself more options.
More of that.
Sorry. Oh, crap. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. All right. Anyway, he was able to give himself a little bit more sort of room to differentiate bases from each other by not allowing you to unseat built-ins. basically, so what that did was he was able to sort of make a base more or less constrained, and so by giving himself that additional parameter, not just how many slots are there and what is in the built-in slots, but also how constrained is this base? How many normal things have we committed you to that you can't replace? They just gave him a third dimension to make bases different from each other, and that was actually one of the major things he did to sort of differentiate, say, the firehouse from the lumberyard in Providence Ridge. Like, the way that he pitched those two was that the firehouse had a lot of power, but you were committed to most of the slots, being filled a certain way. Whereas the lumberyard had less powerful built-ins, but you had more freedom. And so by giving himself that parameter, he was able to make the bases more different from each other and make your decisions more interesting. And so he did consider multiple times, like, maybe I should make it so that you can strip out more of the built-ins from some of these places, but he ended up deciding not to because that was such a powerful way to differentiate bases and make the decisions more interesting. Oh, actually, let me check my inventory real quick. Okay, I do have spots for rewards. So let's claim our influence. Let's claim our police shotgun. Okay, so we are in the critical response pack now. That's what we're doing. Okay, so we've got 3 more of these. 2 screamers with rifles. Zeds with blades. Plague hearts. Okay. Plague hearts is a little rough. And right now, do I have any... I've got a blade. Okay, so I've got a blade and I've got a rifle, but, bullets in the rifle. So let's... Actually, first... I've got 1 bullet. I've got 1 bullet in this rifle, and there's 1 screamer that I can see. So we're going to use our 1 bullet on our 1 screamer, and we're going to feel like a badass. Here we go. I saved a bullet just for you. Anyway, let's go home and get some more ammo. Okay, so we got a couple of new folks showing up in the chat. Loxar, hi, nice to meet you. And Anubis7495 has showed up and asked, is this an online game? So depends on what you mean by online game. This game does allow you to play with friends in co-op. Basically, you've got a game going, and you can invite several of your friends to bring characters from their own games into your game, and you can play together. But it's not like it's just online all the time. It's not like you're in a world that's shared with a bunch of strangers. It's got pretty constrained co-op, mostly just because we when we were making the game, we really wanted to first do no harm. Basically, we wanted to make sure. Okay, well these are our friends who we're going to come back and talk to later. We really wanted to make sure that we minimize the degree to which other players could harm your experience. And so we made a game that was basically mostly about playing with friends and giving your friends a limited ability to influence what's actually going on at your base. They can help you fight zombies, and they can, help you with sort of big, tough challenges, but they can't mess with your base. They can't, destroy things that you've built. They can't, there's a lot of stuff that they can't do, which means, you're insulated from a lot of potential harm that other players could do to you. But it also means that, like, if you wanted to play the game with your friends, like all of you collaborating together to build and jointly own a base, it doesn't feel like that. And so we kind of made that trade-off, and there are definitely a lot of players who made a very good point that they really wanted to play the other way, the way that we didn't support, and totally understand that. At the time, we could basically only afford to support one kind of multiplayer, and so we chose the kind that we thought was the safest. But I would love to explore other options in the future. The franchise, theoretically, there's nothing that would prevent us from doing different types of multiplayer in the franchise, except just cost. There's some approaches to multiplayer that are expensive, some that are cheap, and we would have to definitely weigh that in as we're making our decisions. But there's nothing inherently about the game that says you couldn't have another kind of co-op. So it's something we'd have to consider. Anubis says, "Oh my gosh, you are the designer? Wow, I would love to become a game designer. I do UX right now." So I know people like actually we've got a guy on our team right now who is. Oh wait, first I should say I'm not the designer. There have been a lot of designers working on this game. I am among the designers who worked on this game. But yeah, we've actually got one of our sort of product guys on the team right now is a UX guy who moved into design and then moved into product leadership. And so we've that is definitely a career path that you can take. So that's really cool. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, congratulations just getting into UX design, which is a challenging enough field to get into. And it's a fairly new field. There's not, now there are, I imagine, courses and things you can take to train you in UX design. But for a very long time, there wasn't. And people had to make it up off the top of their heads and sort of invent this whole discipline, just kind of from scratch. And so I have a lot of respect for UX designers. A lot of my favorite people that I work with are UX designers because it's very impressive for people who have done so much work to figure out so much about this brand new discipline when there was so little studied about it before. I'm going to switch over to Sinjin. We're going to get Sinjin a blade of some kind. What has he got already? Oh, he's got the big old axe. I actually like the big old axe for Sinjin. So let's grab somebody else. Because we need a smaller blade in order for blades to count. Jaden? Let's go Jose. Okay, so we need to have a rifle. And we need to have a blade in order to get those top two bounties. And the last bounty, yeah, we'll think about it. Let's grab ourselves. What kind of rifle should we grab? Because I'm already carrying some 7.62, I'd like to do a 7.62 rifle. But which one? Which one? We are still in 5.56 territory. 7.62. Here we are. Okay, so. In order for a rifle to count as a rifle, it actually has to say primary : rifle under the name of the rifle. It's so easy to say, oh, rifles? I'm going to get my, AR-15. Like, no, that's an assault rifle. Actually, wait, the AR-15, because it's semi-auto in this game, we don't have like a modified one that's full auto. That might actually count as a rifle. But okay, anyway. My AK-47, that's definitely an assault rifle. So that's not going to count. Something like the Trumbull Gatekeeper, which actually says rifle on it. That's what you need when it says rifle. And then I also need a blade. What do we have here? Crow's Beak. That is a blunt weapon, so we do not want a blunt weapon. We would like to have a blade. Let's grab ourselves a blade. The Echo Mamba, the Dead Man's, whatever. The doopa-doopa-doopa-doopa-doop. Let's find something that feels appropriate to this character. Like a trench tool. This guy looks like a World War II soldier. We should get him a trench tool, which I believe is a blade. Let's double check, make sure that's actually a blade. Yes, that is a blade. Okay, so we've got a blade to kill random Zeds with. We've got a rifle to kill screamers with. So let's go back and find that group of screamers and kill them with this rifle. Pixel Gamers wants to know if I think Daybreak is going to get any new maps or anything like that. Nothing is ever impossible, though I doubt it because it's unfortunately kind of a vicious cycle. One of the reasons why not very many people play Daybreak is because you get tired of the one map and it's done. But one of the reasons why we don't add new maps to Daybreak is because not a lot of people play Daybreak. You can see how that's circular. If we added maps, maybe more people would play it, and maybe it would be more worthwhile to add the maps. But also maybe not, and it's hard to know. So, yeah. So again, like I don't think anything's impossible. I wouldn't call anything impossible, but I would consider it unlikely for Daybreak to get expanded much beyond what it is. So Lockzar asked a question that I don't remember if it was this session or the last session where I answered this question before, but he asked, why no scopes? Is it a Uni 4 limitation? I wouldn't say, so a lot of people, I think they'll attribute things to an engine that is not necessarily really about the engine. Like, Unreal 4 can do a lot of things. And really, it's much more about just how you use it, right? I mean, there are definitely things that, that Unreal is intrinsically better or worse at. I believe that for a long time, Unreal was not great at doing open world games. It was very much designed for corridor shooters like Gears of War. And where, there's just one path, and you make that path as beautiful as possible, but the player can't go in a lot of different directions. And so a lot of the technology and the tools that you would use to make a big open world game where you can go in a lot of different directions, those were not inherently part of Unreal for a long time. And people had to roll their own solutions, and not all the solutions necessarily worked all that great. Oh, hey, here's a bunch of zombies for me to kill with blades. Hey, stop it. Your butts. Okay, hold on. This might be a bit many zombies, actually. Well, actually, what I don't think this character's a swordsplay person, so really, I should have grabbed a swordplay character if I was going to be doing this, because killing zombies very quickly with blades is important if you're trying to do them. If you want to do it efficiently. I mean, if you want to just fight one zombie at a time, you can safely kill them with blades. Okay, no, not dealing with these things. But if you want to kill a lot of zombies at once, fight a lot of zombies at once. Excuse me. I'm sneezing and it's going to get me killed. Oh, come on. It's probably a good idea to have a character who's inherently better at insta-killing zombies with blades. Like a swords person. But anyway, So I think the kind of question you're probably asking, though, about whether it's a UE4 limitation, I imagine what you're asking is it a performance limitation? Like, is there a reason why the game wouldn't run very well if we tried to give you the ability to look down a scope? And yes, that's more what it is. It's like, if we gave you the ability to look down a scope, there's a lot of sort of stuff that you would see that would either be ugly, or if we tried to make it not ugly, it would be the game's performance would grind to a halt. You could see, like, if we try, like, one thing that I pointed this out, I think in the last session, all the stuff that you're seeing in the distance on the horizon is very low detail, but most of the time you don't notice that because it's just so far away, so small on the screen, you can't tell. But if you could zoom in on all of it, we would have to show you. We could not, in good conscience, show you the low LOD, the low level of detail models that are out there. We'd have to show you the high level of detail models, which means that we would have to render those things. We would have to spawn them in. We would have to have them in the game from a lot further away, which means that the whole game's performance would grind to a standstill. And so, we have to, I mean, it wouldn't be a standstill necessarily, it would just be slower and crappier than usual, and then everybody would be complaining about our frame rate, and we would have a different problem. And so basically, instead of having everyone complaining about the frame rate, we decided to have everyone complain about not having scopes. But, that happens to, that's a detail of sort of the particular balance that we decided to go for, of, fidelity versus, like the size of our map and everything. Like, we just made a lot of decisions that sort of added up to scopes not making sense in our game. But that doesn't mean that scopes could never make sense in any game made with our engine. It's just you'd have to make a set of different set of choices, So that's why I'm not saying that it's like it's not like an Unreal limitation. Unreal could make a game, and I'm sure has made lots of games that involve looking down a scope. It's just our particular use of the engine, the kind of map that we built, how we handled performance. A lot of that stuff just sort of, we made good decisions that were the right decisions for a lot of contexts. But along with those decisions came trade-offs that made it hard to support a scope. Anyway, that's 2 episodes I've made in a row that where I answer that question, but that's fine. Those 2 episodes are actually on different playlists, and so I think in the future, if people actually go back and watch these playlists, they're not going to see those questions answered back to back, because one of them is in the Salt of the Earth playlist, the one I'm in right now, and the other one's in the Heart Attack playlist. So yeah, Loxar is looking forward to seeing what State of Decay 3 can do on more modern technology. And yeah, that does sound great. I would love to see what State of Decay 3 can do with more modern technology. We'll have to see what it looks like when we get there, huh? Okay, so I've killed, like, a third of the zombies I intended to kill. So we should probably get in a position to kill some more. Okay, so I don't know if I want to expose myself to the level of danger represented by these guys over here. My infection's kind of low, though. Maybe I'll be fine. Maybe I should take one off the table. Dang it. You know, I should have really brought some snacks with me. To be fair to me, not only do I not bring snacks like in the game, I also don't bring snacks in real life. Like, when my family goes places, my wife is the one whose job it is to be over-prepared. My job is to be the one who doesn't think about much at all and just is there to have fun. So she's the one who makes sure we have snacks for all the kids. And I'm the one who, when I see all the snacks she brought, later on I'm like, oh, that was a good idea. That didn't occur to me at all. So it's not just in the game. Art imitates life. This is me RPing as myself when I come out and I don't bring snacks. Dang. Okay, this guy is like... Does he have a trait that makes him particularly bad with blades? No, actually, I'm betting I know what it is. I'm betting the trench tool is particularly bad at being fatal to zombies. Hey there. Whoa. Oh, it's caught in the collision of the side. Oh, that's fascinating. Also, Twitch Dude asks if I can run over this sign. Yes, I can. I can run over this one, and I can run over that one, and I can run over this one, and I can run over this guy. Honestly, one of my favorite things about State of Decay 2 is the fact that we can run over so much stuff. In State of Decay 1, people kept trying to smash through fences that in other games you would easily be able to smash through, but because we didn't have a really strong destructible system, that just wasn't in the cards. But one thing we did have was exploding barrels, which we don't have in State of Decay 2, so everything's a trade-off. Oh, come on. Yeah, so again, I should be trying to kill all of these zombies with blades, but now and then I'm like, you know, this is a crowd of zombies. I'm just going to get hurt. I can take out a few of them with a rifle. Expose myself to a little less danger. Dang, I thought I was going to be able to get two with that, but they moved out of the way. And you. Whew! All right. Let's have a look at this weapon. So yeah, my dismember is low. My lethality is pretty low. So yeah, not surprised that I'm finding this weapon a little less effective. Okay, 25 more to get. Guess we'll just keep driving this way, because why not? Wait, Peroxicus, are you telling me that in one version of our game, like on one platform but not on the other, characters have collision with corn in cornfields? Or are you saying that just you play on one particular platform and you noticed that you can collide with corn in cornfields, but you don't know if it's possible in the other platform. Because if there's a discrepancy there, that's weird. Oh, crap. I don't know who that was. Oh, there he is. Okay. Okay, a little less worried now. I heard that feral coming. Oh, we got a Juggernaut coming after me, too. Let's try to get rid of these guys before Mr. Juggernaut catches up. Oh, there's two. Okay, you know what? Bye. That's me throwing down a smoke grenade and running away. Let's go somewhere else. So, Coalition asks if I'm ready for all of the "is this the final update" questions that will come with the next update. I mean, yes, I am definitely ready with the answer I've always given to those questions, which is no, of course not. Update 34, curved ball update. We have no intention of that being the final update to the game. I mean, as I, like I say with all of the positive things, or people ask, when people are like, are you ever going to add looking down scopes, or are you ever going to add another map to the game? I'm always like, I mean, I don't think so. But, I don't want to ever say never, because you never know what the future might hold. And similarly, you never know, if some weird situation might pop up and have us surprisingly stop supporting State of Decay 2 when we didn't anticipate it. That kind of thing could happen. But it could have happened any time in the past, 5 years as well. Like, at any stage along the line, something could have happened that would have made it so that we had to stop supporting State of Decay 2. But so far, none of those things have happened. We've managed to keep supporting State of Decay 2, and I'm very happy about that. So, yeah, right now, as always, as has been true for the last 5 years, we have no intention of no longer supporting State of Decay 2. Like, we're not seeing an end in sight. I mean, we've got, the Wushu team working on, a lot of State of Decay 2 stuff now, which helps because, that means that a lot more people inside of Undead Labs can focus on other projects. So that's really helpful to us. But, I mean, we very deliberately decided to do it that way instead of, just pulling people off State of Decay 2 and making the team smaller and smaller and smaller until it just disappeared. We decided not to do that. Instead, we decided to, contract with this outside team to make sure that our capacity to support State of Decay 2 stayed strong while we, while we moved a lot of our own people onto the next game. And I think it's been great, too. It's actually a really kind of a cool thing because, internally at Undead Labs, we have a certain set of expertise, right? We've got certain employees who are really good at doing certain things. And that means that, the kinds of changes we're able to make to the game, the kinds of updates we're able to do have stayed fairly consistent over time. There's just certain things that we're good at doing and certain things that are a little tougher for us. Wushu's got a different array of expertise than we've had. And so that means that, like the curveball update, I think a lot of the stuff they did with that are things that would not have come easily to us. Would have been more difficult, more expensive for us to do. But because they're there, they're able to do a bunch of stuff that we wouldn't have done. And so I think it's kind of interesting to sort of... It's almost like how, until they got to Christopher McQuarrie, the Mission Impossible series, it just kept having a different director every film. And they always had Tom Cruise, and he was at least eventually, I don't know if he was at first, but he's at least eventually a producer on it. And he had a big influence on sort of the creative direction of the franchise. But, like, they just kept bringing in new directors. And each one of them, put their own stamp on the franchise. And now the franchise has got this very sort of, like, varied history. Where it's been sort of, it keeps broadening what it's capable of being. And I think that there's some advantages to sort of, like, passing the baton, like, carefully passing the baton. And, making sure that you're very careful about, what you, like making sure that the new team that comes on is very on board with your priorities and like all of the rules you've established for the franchise and stuff like that. But at the same time, letting them bring their own perspective and their own expertise into it and do things with the franchise that you wouldn't necessarily have been able to do. So Peroxicus says the curveball update has been great so far. He's playing it in the public test realm. He says there's one curveball where zombies fall over for absolutely no earthly reason. Like they trip over their own feet. It's so funny. Okay, I haven't seen that one yet, so I still need to get around to... I have installed, finally, State of Decay 2 from Steam on my PC. So I should actually at some point get around to playing in the public test realm. Though actually, I don't know. What I keep thinking I'm waiting for is reaching a point with my heart attack community where I can take a break from them because they're meant to be sort of my main focus. Here, I'm going to just set several of these on fire and just kill the few that survive. But yeah, it could easily... I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if I don't get done with the heart attack update until after the curveball update is already like in the wild, if it's like out in retail. And if that's the case, then yeah, maybe the public test room isn't where I'll play curveball. Maybe I'll play it just in the live game, and maybe the next update that comes out, maybe I'll play that one in the public test realm. We'll see. One thing I've been noticing, by the way, when I do like executions on the ground with these zombies, I often use my, or like stealth kills and stuff, I'll often use my my short blade instead of using my oh, there's a feral. Instead of using my trench tool, which means it doesn't give me credit. I don't get credit for the kills for the bounty, because we wanted to make sure that, you know, players could get credit for using a close combat weapon, for close combat weapon bounties. We wanted to make sure we gave them credit for those when they killed a zombie like this. But I think, actually, I wasn't watching, but I think what that meant was we didn't count that for blades. But let me check it the next time I do it. I'm gonna go, let's go find a zombie that we can kill with our close combat weapon. And let's see if it counts for the bounty. I think it doesn't, but let's find out for sure. Malator says, yeah, they don't count. I just wanted to, like, prove it to myself while watching carefully. So here we go. So we come up here. I've got a blade, but I hit Y. Kill him. And yeah, my bounty didn't update at all. So, yep. So if it says kill with blades, you have to actually kill them in, like, a stand-up, hand-to-hand fight. You can't just do a little assassination move on them, or it's not going to count. If you actually hack their head off with a shovel, then you get credit. Ah, whoa. Why am I trying to hit this zombie with my car? That doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to kill zombies with blades. I should keep killing zombies with blades. Hello, friend. So, Malator, that's a really good question. Let's see if I can remember to answer that at the very end. Haha. I just didn't want to get out and have that screamer scream at me and attract more zombies. That just seemed less effective. There we go. Bounty get. So when I say less effective, by the way, it's funny. That's actually Mormon missionary doublespeak that I learned when I was a missionary in Anaheim, California, over 2 decades ago, which is weird. But basically, there was sort of this relentlessly positive attitude that everyone always tried to maintain on the mission. And so you would never say that something was bad. You would never say, like, it's mostly about talking about strategies and like, you know, skills that you would use in the field. You'd say, oh, that's less effective. It's less effective to do this. It's better to do this other thing. But the phrase less effective spread and kind of became like doublespeak. Like, it was a way to say bad without saying the word bad. So almost anything, like calling almost anything bad, instead of saying bad, you would say less effective. And so that's still in my lexicon. I still say that, use that phrase all the time. Oh no! Oh shoot! Ah! Okay, so one thing I think I am not going to do this session is try to actually kill a plague heart, because I'm tired. And one of the reasons I came to play with Salt of the Earth was because I was tired. And actually, I kind of inevitably have to fight a plague heart. Ooh, wait, let's not go to the bounty broker. Let's save these completed bounties for my lethal zone community. Never mind. Let's let the lethal zone community get the rewards. Let's just go straight home. So we're going to go home. We're going to, you know, put away any stuff we've collected, and we're just going to leave this bounty because you know, I think I've got still several plague hearts left to kill in my lethal zone community. I'm definitely going to make progress at some point, whether I want to or not, against that bounty over there. So we will. Yeah, we'll save that one bounty uncompleted. We'll do that in our lethal zone community. We'll claim these other 2 bounties in that lethal zone community. And we'll run into like 9,000 juggernauts between here and home for some reason. Fallstar points out that my car is smoking. Indeed. It wasn't. It is in fact smoking. So I don't really love this rifle for him. I was just doing it for the bounty. So let's give him back his BAR so I don't forget. That was World War II, right? So I should look for the World War II symbol. It's also 762, so it'll be way down here, won't it? Oh, wait. No, he had a... Yeah, he had one that actually had bullets in it. That's correct. Okay, there we go. He's got his BAR now. He's a happy boy. Whew! All right, I guess it's time to get out of here. So here is an end screen. Here's a subscribe button. Here's the next Salt of the Earth video. Go and click on those things, and I will see you all later. I'm laughing because of an in-joke.